beep, beep, beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. Hello, everybody. How are we? We are in September. Come and be a warrior teacher. We're starting in a few weeks' time. Please do come and join us. Links, as usual, are in the Dubras downstairs. What have we got for you this morning? Well, puberty blockers. Let's talk about puberty blockers. There is an article today written by the marvellous Hannah Barnes in the Times newspaper. Hannah, as you know, is the author of that great book, Time to Think, which was a game changer when it arrived this year. When is it? I don't know. Right, so, okay. This is quite extraordinary, so let's dig in. When in April, Dr. Hilary Cass published the findings of the most in-depth investigation into care provided to gender-questioning children ever undertaken, it was a damning indictment of how badly a group of vulnerable and highly distressed children had been let down. Right, okay. First off, the first thing that screams at me now, I'm getting to this point, I think, stop calling it gender. Just stop it. They're not gender questioning. They're ill, okay? And so they're ill. That's it. We don't know why. Stop calling it gender questioning. Call it sex questioning, because that's what it really is if you're going to call it anything at all. It really does annoy me. Cass, a former president of the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, concluded that this is an area of remarkably weak evidence. I just said it's an area of remarkably no evidence, where some practitioners abandon normal clinical approaches to the assessment of young people with complex lives. Well, they just say comorbidities. They won't say it. I don't know why. The NHS had allowed the routine prescribing of puberty blocker drugs to children with gender dysphoria. There's no such thing. Sick of this now, aren't you? Sick of it. There's no such thing. Sex dysphoria. I mean, they're just ill, a purpose for which they are not licensed, for a decade without any robust data to support that decision. So they just made the decision. It's absolutely surreal. Even worse, Cass confirmed that the now closed Tavistock Gender Identity Development Service and University College London Hospital had early data that did not demonstrate benefit. Is it me, or is that criminal? Negligence at best, right? Did not have. The adoption of a treatment with uncertain benefits without further scrutiny is a significant departure from established practice. I think it's a crime. I'm concerned here that what's happening is this kind of middle-class twee way of handling this. The fact they didn't have any, and in fact had some that indicated it was a problem, not a solution, should be enough to launch a police investigation, surely. Surely. Cass's findings were underpinned by 7 new peer-reviewed systematic evidence reviews and informed by more than 1,000 conversations. And people still won't believe it. The medical and political establishment swung behind the Cass report. Supportive statements quickly followed from the Royal College of GPs, College of Psychiatrists, Association of Clinical Psychologists. The Conservative and Labour Party front benches committed themselves to implementing the review's recommendations in full. A review which, in my book, didn't go far enough. So when in mid-July, Hannah revealed in the New Statesman that the UK Council of the British Medical Association was planning to vote on a motion rejecting Cass, it came as a shock to many. Why was the Executive Committee of the Powerful Doctors Union, which has almost 200,000 members, setting itself in opposition to such a comprehensive review? This is a very good question. In a press release issued a fortnight later, the BMA confirmed it had voted for a motion branding Cass's recommendations unsubstantiated. For God's sake, alleging the review had excluded trans-affirming evidence. No such thing as trans. And called for a BMA to both lobby to oppose the implementation of the recommendations made by the Cass Review and publicly critique it. What they mean there by trans-affirming evidence is the lived experience of people who have to lie to themselves because of the damage they've done to themselves and everybody else around them. It absolutely infuriates me. The release also criticised a government-imposed ban on new puberty blocker prescriptions issued in the wake of the review. These controversial drugs were prescribed on the NHS and privately to suppress the release of sex hormones in children questioning their gender once they began puberty. Even after the NHS stopped prescribing puberty blockers, private clinics, sometimes based overseas but working in Britain, continued the practice. Horrendous. The BMA's actions are being heralded globally by those who've always opposed Cass's findings. Evidence, they say, that doctors, no less, have found the report to be flawed. This is not true. Now, The BMA is a trade union. What's really interesting is the numbers. So let's just have a look at those. At the time of writing, says Hannah, more than 1,450 doctors, including 950 BMA members. Only 950, mind. Only 950. Have signed an open letter to the BMA's leadership urging the union to reconsider and accusing them of operating an opaque and secretive process that delivered a verdict which does not reflect the views of the wider membership. They've got a cabal at the top of the BMA. Even the BMA's leadership body, the UK Council, was split on the matter. Sources have confirmed to me that 45 of 69 voting members of the BMA's council took part in the votes. 45 of 69. That's also... Where were the others? Where were the other 24? Cowards. Less than half, 21, voted to oppose implementing the cash review. 11 voted against. Good for you. And 13 abstained. Cowards! 29 members voted to critique it. The open letter addressed to the BMA's council chair, Philip Banfield, a consultant obstetrician and gynaecologist in North Wales, accuses the BMA council of going against the principles of evidence-based medicine and against ethical practice. Whatever happened to firstly do no harm? Really? And then they've got a retired surgeon called Richard Rawlins who says that he's never seen an organisation like the union, the BMA, ever get involved in something like this before. It's all extremely strange stuff, really. They've not explained anything. That's what you've got to understand. They haven't explained anything about why they're doing what they're doing. I'm saying that they've got a cabal at the top of the BMA, that there is a bunch of people up there who are gender-addled grievance gerbils. And I bet if we look at the work of the people at the top of this, I will put money on it. I bet that if we look at the work of the people at the top of this, that they are also up to their grubby little necks in critical race theory. Who wants to have a bet with me? Who wants to go and have a look? Go and have a look at the BMA. See if you can find out who these doctors are, and then come back to us and let us know whether or not they're steeped in critical race theory and decolonising the curriculums of various medical schools, as well as in trying to maintain that the idea that you can stunt, mutilate, destroy, interfere with, and experiment on children is a good thing to be doing. Because that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. This is a cabal. I think they are psychopathic, subclinically psychopathic in their behaviour and sociopathic in their intent. And I think it's very, very important that at this point we should say, when they had evidence that they knew from the very beginning this gave no benefit and in fact did harm, that should be enough to start a police investigation into the BMA and those doctors that have been involved in prescribing puberty blockers when they knew that they could harm the young person they were prescribing for, and that what the young person was displaying was a symptom of far greater malaise. That's what we need to do. There's a cabal at the top of the BMA. Physician, heal thyself.